leader of international Robocall scam sentenced for defrauding over 4,000 US victims out of more than $10 million. And the Indian national from India was sentenced to 22 years in prison for conspiracy and identity theft in connection with his operation of an overseas robocall scam that defrauded thousands of actual victims out of more than $10 million. This defendant has been sentenced to 22 years in prison for being the mastermind and leader of an extensive multi-million-dollar robocall scheme that from overseas exploited over 4,000 American victims. And this actually, the victims, many of whom are elderly, continue to endure significant financial hardship from the defendant's vast fraud enterprise. The defendant operated and supervised the call center, was the closer when speaking to victims, and managed the money carriers who illegally sent millions of stolen and hard earned funds belonging to the victims back to his call center. When you consider the sheer number of victims this defendant extorted and the magnitude of their losses, the scale of harm and pain he caused is enormous. And I mean, and I'm telling you guys, it could happen to anybody. You cannot say you won't fall for it. I've seen major actual people fall for this. Streetwise, street savvy. They've been the victims. Man, I've had one that actually they got him out of a bed on a Sunday evening to go buy a calling card at the local corner mart. So for us, any of us to say it won't happen to you, you never can say never, right? He's a 40-year-old, and he actually operated a call center out of Ahmedabad, Ahmedabad, India, from which he automated robocalls were made to victims in the United States. After establishing contact with victims through these automated calls, he and other closers at his call center would coerce, cajole, and trick victims into sending bulk cash through physical shipments and electronic money transfers. He and his conspirators used a variety of schemes to convince victims to send money, including impersonating law enforcement officials from the FBI, the DEA, and representatives of other government agencies, such as Social Security Administration, and to threaten victims with severe legal and financial consequences. Conspirators also convinced victims to send money as initial installments for falsely promised loans. In addition to operating the call centers, he recruited and supervised a multitude of money couriers who he directed to receive money sent by the victims. Network of money couriers was located in multiple states, including but not limited to Virginia, New Jersey, Minnesota, Texas, California, South Carolina, and Illinois. He assigned various aliases to these individuals and supplied them with hundreds of counterfeit identification documents to facilitate their receipt of victims' cash shipments and money transfers. Wow, that's pretty interesting. He actually created identities for these actual cells in the US in order for him to actually get that money, secure that money, and send it back to him. And he then directed the couriers to send the money to himself and other conspirators through various means, including cash deposits into numerous bank accounts and via informal money transmitters known as Hawalas. He actually is the actual fourth of six defendants in this case to be sentenced for their role in the actual conspiracy. The other one was a 41-year-old, the other one was a 38-year-old, and they haven't been sentenced yet. But they emphasize that it usually affects more of the elderly population. But just want to put this out there. If you have loved ones that are actually a little bit older, you know, keep an eye on their actual mail. I had my mom. She hit me up one time. This is a couple of weeks ago actually. She hit me up about some kind of in California we have toll roads where we can actually pay in advance or actually pay as we go through these toll roads, and some kind of scheme. She got to receive the letter, and that actually made it sound like she used these actual toll roads, but yet there was some kind of lawsuit, and um, she had actual earn, earnings coming back to her for the fact that there was some kind of lawsuit against the actual toll company. These are private owned companies, and that she needed to get a hold of them for the fact that she may have some money coming back to her. When she called me up, she asked me, she sent me a picture. You know what? It was addressed to her email. It was addressed. It was as simple as that. But she didn't catch it. And I told her, Mom, you're not gonna be addressed on your email. They're gonna put your name, and you're gonna have your name on that actual letterhead if it's addressed to you, not by your email address. Something as simple as that can catch somebody off guard and fall for these traps. Okay, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.